Hello there. Namaste. So I just watched OMG 2, and this one by far is not as good as the first one. Okay, it starts off with, like in the first one, it's an atheist who basically is being shown religion, who's being guided by the hand of God, basically. It's a comedic, it's comedic when they have those types of things. Here, they take a step back. Every time they had Akshay Kumar pop in, I'd always smile. I'd always get happy that something was going to happen, but then he'd disappear. He was only in there for probably 20 minutes max of the entire film. And I was not a fan of that because this movie went dark right away. It immediately went the route where the kid wants to commit suicide because he was recorded in the school bathroom masturbating. And he became a laughingstock, and then the father basically goes on defense fighting for sexual education after he basically blamed his son for doing something vulgar. And there are some things that just really aggravated me because throughout the entire film, if I was brought into the principal's office and if I had a child and they had done that action, the first thing I would jump and start yelling about is why the heck were they allowing cameras in the kids' restrooms? What pervert put that there? What disgusting school allows that kind of stuff to happen? That is the first thing. Why are they targeting the victim of that incident? Why aren't they finding the kids who are responsible, or the adults possibly who are responsible for making that video? Who knows? You have to have an inquiry at that point. The entire film, I was angry because it was never brought up. Nobody even considered it an issue, which is why I was so livid. I was watching it and I kept getting angrier and angrier and angrier because I was thinking, okay, someone's going to bring it up that this is not allowed, that this is absolutely disgusting. Like, I know that kind of stuff happens. Every time I walk into a public restroom, I look because it is disgusting what some people are willing to do, what some people enjoy, what some people see. It was just, yeah. But that's what I went into it thinking. Like, after that incident, I kept getting angrier and angrier until the very end, where it was the judge, after the verdict was settled, who brought it up. It was like, this should have been the first thing that was mentioned. How many more kids are suffering the same situation? How many more guys? How many more girls? Just because the school allows this disgusting thing. So, as you can see, I'm coming at it from a different aspect. But on the other hand, I did like how it was pushing the sexual education needs to be, spoken about more. We need to talk about this. We need to be in discussion about it. On the other hand, the biggest issue I have is don't give it to the schools. The schools should have no say in sexual education. Look at the US. The schools have had say in sexual education to the point where the parents can't correct what's told wrong, or what the parents don't agree with, or the parents say, oh, that's something you need to learn later on in life. That's something you choose when you're an adult, not when you're 12 years old being told, oh, you're not this, you're this. Because there were parts where I was watching it and it was just like, oh, we need to talk about how when you're born this way, you're stuck as that for the rest of your life. I was just like, ugh, I'm in California. That is not the case. And that's the thing. I was going at it from the perspective is, if you give this power to the government, to the schools, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. Don't give it to the schools. I encourage the aspect that there should be more opening between parents and children about sexual education. There should be more of that. They should talk to them. What is right? What is wrong? What are proclivities that happen just between certain people? Because there's niche groups of people that grow differently, that prefer different things. It's just the way it is. We're all human beings. We all have different proclivities. So it aggravated me that they were like, oh, it's the school's responsibility. It's the school's responsibility. Heck no. Don't say it's the school's responsibility, because you're going to end up regretting giving it to the schools. Yeah, there are cases upon cases upon cases in the U.S. of schools doing things a little too far out of what would be considered general sexual education. But general sexual education is a landmark that is established by the schools, and they can basically move it to whatever they see as sexual education. So I was absolutely livid that he kept saying, oh, the schools need to teach this. The schools need to teach us. No. The issue should have been the schools allowed that to be recorded and got away with it. He had messed up teaching his child. That should have been it. They shouldn't have brought in all this extra stuff. Oh my gosh. I mean, it was funny when they were testing like the machine. If anyone had a small package, it would light up red, and then everyone was just lighting up red. It was funny. Had little instances that were funny, but overall the concept, I mean, I can understand when schools don't teach that stuff and parents don't teach that stuff. It's easier. I mean, that was the issue here. It was easier for parents to tell the schools to take care of it. But now that the schools take care of it, the parents can't control it, can't tell the kids what was told right and what was told wrong. Because remember, some teachers will teach things to their perspective, just like parents do. But they're your child. Screw them up your own way, not the teacher's way. I've always said, if you have kids, you're going to end up screwing them up in your own special way. Don't give someone else the right to screw them up. But yeah, I mean, it was just like they had some good concepts. I love the fact that it was like being more open about sexual education, talking to them. And because you see the scene where the little girl is talking with her grandfather, I think, the old boss of the main character. And then he's asking about, okay, what, because she saw the guy on the news talking about, oh, we should be comfortable with this. So she felt comfortable talking to him. Only to find out that her uncle had been, it's just like, yes, we need those kinds of narratives. We need that kind of open discussion, that open dialogue. It was disturbing, but it was powerful to have that there. Oh, but yeah, I didn't care for, it was just like the whole thing about the school needing to teach. The school needs to be responsible. I think the school should always have, if kids ask about it, they should either talk to the parents about it if they want the kids to be taught. It would be like an extracurricular at that point, where the kids are not being taught by the parents and need to be hoisted over, because it needs to be taught. It needs to be shown, but it should not be given into the power. It should be, if the parents don't, the school should take over, but it should be done as something after the fact, like when the parents sign up the kids, oh, I don't want to teach them this, and then they have the option of removing them from that. That's what I feel. Of course, that's my own personal perspective on sexual education in schools, because let's face it, there are adults who would never, just like, because they kept talking about how it's vulgar. Well, why is it vulgar? Because people just put a label on it. That's the thing. It's just like cursing used to be considered vulgarity. You can't hear people talk without hearing curse words flung in every single conversations. It's rare. So it's like one of those things that it's just like, you just need to have a dialogue, open the narrative, and it'll have people understand what's going on. Teach people properly the first time, so that way when they finally blow up, it's their fault. It's their fault. It's not everyone else's fault around them, because they were taught. You made sure you taught them. But yeah, the biggest issue was the fact that they were trying to allow the schools this authority. Because if the schools want to screw the parents over, all they have to do is introduce California's ideology of sexuality. That's all they have to do. And then they've the whole thing, they're screwed. They have no choice, because they wanted the schools to do it. And now their ideologies and their beliefs are completely being conflicted with against what the school has been told they have permission to do. I mean, heck, if I was the teacher of that, or the principal of that school, the first thing I'd do is sign off on California's ideology of education and just remove my own kids from it, because you want to teach your own kids the right way, the way, and if they develop later on, that's their choice. But don't encourage them to change when they are young. But yeah, that's the biggest issue I came with it. It was just like I was watching, I was getting angrier and angrier and angrier that they didn't bring up the fact that a kid was being recorded as they were going to the bathroom. It was apparently the judge, the only person who noticed that, and then forced the school to correct that and find out who did it and punish them. It was just like, why? Why did it take till the very end of the film for someone to notice that was an issue? But yeah, as you can see, I was very passionate and aggravated, because I don't feel this mainly because it was about giving the schools authority to do it. And no, take it from someone who lives in California. Don't give the schools authority. It may work now. It may work 10 years down the road. But 20, 30 years, are you going to be happy with that decision? Are your kids' going to be happy with that decision? Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, I understand the concept. I understand why it's a powerful film, but at the same time, their direction with trying to hoist it onto others and the families not having to be as responsible, even though he was like, I am responsible, but he still wanted the school to take responsibility for it. Yeah. I know the whole thing was just to create a huge mess of it, to make it blow out of proportion so that way everyone's like, yeah, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. Yes. But it's between parents and their kids. The parents who don't have the strength to do it, maybe the grandparents can do it. If no one in the family has the strength to do it, or there's no one in the family who can, then the school should have the authority to do something like that. But oh my gosh, because I was just thinking of it from my perspective. That's the issue, is I go into it knowing that I don't want the school teaching my kids anything here in the US about sexuality. I do that myself. And if they want to be something growing up, that's on them. That's when they're an adult and can choose for themselves. I don't want my 12-year-old or 2-year-old or whatever, since they start teaching that at a very young age here in the US, thinking that it's okay. Because no, everyone has issues. Just grow up. When you're an adult, you can choose for yourself. But oh my gosh, yeah. Sorry, I've been rambling. If you got to this point, thank you. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's just like it's good, but it's not good because you don't know what's gonna do down the road. If it's the family's responsibility, it'll always be the family's responsibility to continue on the teaching, and you will know it'll always be done a certain way. You don't want to give a generalized education, because what is considered the generalized education? But thank you all for watching. I rambled on for way too long here. Doodles.